What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined today by my dad Sean, and today we got a live album reaction to Prince's double album Sign o' the Times, and this comes courtesy of our patron Noah Davis. Noah, really appreciate your support, man.
Yes, thank you, Noah.
Looking forward to doing this. Noah, we're sending him the full video that we're doing here on YouTube with Prince's official studio stuff. There's really no reactions because they all get blocked.
Yep, ain't gonna happen.
So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to really include any of the songs in here. We'll just kind of fast forward us listening to it, and then just kind of give our actual reactions to it. It just kind of got to be, that way
what it is,
for
Sorry,
copyright. Guys. But if this is your first time stopping by, we appreciate it. Here at the channel, we do a bunch of reviews, reactions, live streams, pretty fun community. So if you like that, consider hitting that big red subscribe button. And if you'd like to have us react to an album or review an album, you can check out our Patreon as well and see the options there if you'd like to support. But all that to say, we'll get into some quick facts and then we'll jump into this.
Yeah, it was his 9th studio album, released in 1987. It's number 93 in the Rolling Stones top 500 albums of all
top
time.
100.
Top 100, baby. It's his follow-up to Parade, and his first album since he disbanded the Revolutions. Prior to the disbanding of the Revolution, he was working on 2 separate projects, the Revolution album Dream Factory, and then a solo effort, Camille. Unlike the 3 previous band albums, Dream Factory included input from band members and lead vocals by Wendy and Lisa. The Camille project saw Prince create an androgynous persona, primarily singing in a sped-up female-sounding voice. Once he dismissed the Revolution, he had these albums sitting out here, then he had some new material as well, so he wanted to release a triple album. His record company said, no way. So he finally convinced him to do the double album, which is what this is. And they didn't even really want to do that. But this, guys, for those of you that are near my age range, this album and only being able to do a double album instead of a triple album is what brought the whole thing to a head of Prince speaking out against the record company and becoming the symbol for all those years and not being known as Prince so he could be a pain to them. Sign of the Times has a wide range of styles: funk, soul, psychedelic pop, electro, and rock. The reason why they did that is because it's a mixture of 3 albums that were recorded at 3 different times, all thrown into one. Sheena Easton's on here helping him out on a couple uncredited things, and that's kind of it, Trey. So we can get into the first song. I was familiar with a couple of these songs because they were big hits, and I was 16 years old when this thing came out. So we're gonna start out with the title track, Sign of the Times, number 304 on the Rolling Stones top 500 songs of all time. Went to 3 in the US, 10 in the UK. Very familiar with this song. This is one of the songs where he went out, he recorded it with the Revolution. He stripped out all of their stuff and did all the backing stuff on his own. The lyrics, as we're going to see, gets into a bunch of stuff of the times, the AIDS epidemic, nuclear holocaust, the space shuttle Challenger exploding, which had happened the year before. It's 1987, Trey. When I was a 16-year-old, I remember all of these things happening.
Exactly.
And the worry around all of it. So that's kind of where we are, man. So
all right, man.
Let's hit it up.
We'll get into it, and got the lyrics pulled up. So if you see us looking down here, that's what we're doing in that regard. And yeah, let's hit it up.
And Trey, have you ever heard any of these?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, we did Purple Rain, which was awesome.
Yeah. Way early on in the channel.
Yeah, that was one of our first 5 albums or so,
Yeah.
and I still spin a lot of songs from that. So I'm looking forward to this. But
let's kick it off, baby.
We'll get rocking.
Well, Trey, I'm going to tell you, I'll let you share your thoughts more than mine because I knew this song, but
yeah,
never knew it from the point of just sitting there and really enjoying it. In a much different way since we started the channel and doing these things. That is 5 minutes and 3 seconds of basically musical brilliance. And I do not throw that around.
I'd agree,
from
man.
From doing the instrumentation all by yourself to that riff in there that's so good. And then the lyrics are next level, man. If you were born and you were alive during this time, like, it is an autobiography of my life, of what was going on, like, and just taking shots of like how ridiculous. And I mean, this is 1987. I mean, dudes ain't socially woke like they are now, right? People were not speaking out against stuff because it's career suicide in the entertainment world at that time.
Man.
He's just calling it out. So
I'm just so impressed that he did all the instruments there, from the synth drums at the end to just the synth at the start, the awesome guitar licks in there, obviously the vocals, did the songwriting, production.
It's just
very impressive, man. And yeah, I love how everything from the drugs to obviously the space, the Challenger explosion, to
calling out how we waste money as a people and a government. When
yeah,
there's other needs that are
the violence, the gang violence, just a bunch of their just
AIDS. It starts out talking about AIDS.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
mean, like it's
the sign of the times, man. And I really enjoyed that. Had to add that to the playlist for sure.
Oh, it's banging.
Really impressed. Off to a great note, and we'll get kicking down with track number 2.
Yeah, the next 2 tracks are much more laid back, which I think was very smart on his sequencing. It's called "Play in the Sunshine" is the next one. It's basically just about being positive and having fun and enjoying life. So I thought it was very smart to go from that heavy, because Sign of the Times is heavy. It's brilliant, but it's heavy. Now we're just going to play in the sunshine. So
all right, man.
Let's hit it. Okay, so I think as we're talking about, it sounds like they're partying. I like the unconventional way it starts and stops. And I mean, my background with Prince is this is probably the first album in a long time I did not buy. Not that anything against Prince. My taste was just, I was more into Def Leppard and Bon Jovi and that stuff at that point. I was a huge Prince guy. Back to the album before 1999. I can't remember what it was, and then I was way into 1999. When Purple Rain came out, I actually drugged 2 of my friends. I was in the 7th grade to go watch Purple Rain. Nobody even really knew outside of who Prince was exactly. Little Red Corvette was a hit. 1999 was a hit, but not like he was going to become. So and then I bought the albums afterwards, but this is the first one I didn't own. But so I mean, I love Prince. I was looking forward to this. This is a song that, besides a couple hits, I've never heard any of these songs.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man, that's Prince, and that shows the diversity. Because Trey, back then, when I was a teenager, everything was so highly produced.
Oh yeah,
everybody was so highly careful, right? And he's one of the first guys in that realm with just like, look, dude, I'm going to do what I want to do, and if you like it, if the record company likes it, if you don't,
we're going to throw this and that instrument out there, experiment with this,
and much props for that and respect. So I really like that.
And doing that as like the pop, one of the biggest pop stars of the day, take something, you can do that and just be Joe Blow, and you might not have to face many repercussions or whatever. But if you do that as one of the top selling guys, especially,
it's going to lose you fans.
Yeah,
and it did with him. His popularity waned because he didn't care. But you got to respect that instead of just putting out the same cookie cutter stuff, dude.
Exactly, and I did like the difference, as we just mentioned, how it was a more upbeat. Just you wanted to kind of get up and dance along with the music.
Yeah, no, it was great. Now the next track, "HOUSEQUAKE," is one of the 4 where he's in his Camille persona, so it's going to have sped up lyrics. So you're going to kind of hear that his voice is sped up a little bit because he wants to have that androgynous kind of feel, which is just something that Prince would do some crazy stuff. So this is also just about let's party, let's have a good time. Man. So let's party and dance. So it sounds like to me that like he sped up his main vocal, but the backing vocals are him in his regular voice. Did you notice?
Yeah, I was gonna say that very unique delivery here.
That would be fun trying to mix that. But yeah, it's like it's his sped up voice, but then his regular voice.
You're right. Yeah, that's
doing the chorus part in the.
That's an interesting, almost like call and response type of deal there.
Okay, I just wanted to point that out so you'll listen for it for the rest of the song. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
And very heavily like kind of R&B style with like the hip hop style beat and percussion in there.
Even though it's a party song, much different than the last one.
Oh yeah, man, that was a track that I could just imagine. Just being played at like a dance club or whatever.
Yeah, man, everybody's having a good time. I mean, nothing to it lyrically as much as,
No, it's just like, as they said, they got the funkiest groove around. So, just kind of that dance style. I think I'd be the guy where he says, if you can't shake, then get off. That'd be me,
that
man.
That would be me too. It must be genetic for you, poor dude. And when I say it's a simple song lyrically, it's definitely not a simple song. As far as like there's so much instrumentation and just the mixing and all of that to be able to pull off what he did there is tremendous. And that we're going to close out side 1, of the vinyl world with the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, which there's a real woman named Dorothy Parker, but Prince said he had no idea that. Somebody pointed it out to him after the album had come out. So
really?
It's not about her, but it's about either. I saw him mentioned it 2 different ways in interviews, so I don't know which one, or I don't know that he knows, but it was either from a dream or from an argument he had with Susanna, and I always butcher their last name. I did back in the day. Melvoin. Her and her sister Wendy were in the Revolution.
That's right.
So it's
because they mentioned Wendy in Purple Rain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's them, and Susanna's doing some of the backing vocals on some of these. So it was either inspired by that or a dream he had. It seems to be a narrative inversion of Joni Mitchell's "Help Me," which Prince interpolates midway through Dorothy Parker. Its hazy, narcotic sound was an accident because his engineer, Susan Rogers, was setting up a home studio for him. It's the first time she worked with him, and there had been an electrical problem with the equipment, and they didn't know it. And so they recorded this song, and afterwards she's like, I was so scared to play it back for him. But they left it as is, so that's why it has a different kind of sound to it, because the soundboard is actually screwed up, but they like the way it sounded. And I like that because very few people would have the guts to be, no, man, I like it how it is.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
So that's how we're going to finish this.
I like that.
Outside one.
I like kind of hearing the backstories before we go.
Yeah, I still did all the research. I'm not going to sell that short because I like to know it. It adds to it, I always think, immensely.
All right, man. Let's get rocking.
Let's do it.
Love that bass line at the end.
Yeah, I kind of get the song like lyrically. I think at the start he meets her. She's a waitress. She's hot. He goes home with her, but he's got a girlfriend, so he's kind of feeling guilty. He felt too guilty. He wouldn't have went home with her, but he takes. I think that's symbolized by he takes the bath with his pants on. I don't know that that's literal, but he's just saying.
Yeah.
And she just kind of plays it cool and keeps kind of, oh no, that's fine, and keeps kind of coaxing him along. I don't quite get the last verse where he went back and told him he took the bubble bath, went back to the violin.
That's what I was gonna.
I don't really know what that means, but it's okay.
Drop down. That's what you get, on these first reactions. We can't always know what like our reviews and dissect it.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
exactly. See the inside of I don't know what the heck that was.
Exactly. I find it interesting too. Like he made Dorothy laugh at the start, and then at the end she made him laugh.
Yeah, because she took total control. She flipped that thing throughout the song.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of some ingenious way of unfolding that.
He went back to the violent room. I don't know what that is particularly.
I don't either. I was wondering that as well. I would have to do some deeper digging.
So yeah, let us know kind of some more on old Dorothy Parker here, because he says he took another bubble bath with his pants on, and then all the fighting stopped. Next time he'll do it sooner. So maybe he cut off the relationship. He did it with his pants on. Obviously nothing physical going on then. Maybe he finally decided I got to cut it off with Dorothy. Yeah. And then I don't know. Who knows, man? That's just my hypothesis. I enjoyed that though. I got to add it to the play just because it was more chilled.
Yeah, side one is very diverse, man, and I would imagine there's going to be more of the same. We're going to start side two, Trey, and there is no lyrical breakdown of this song because it's called "It," and "It" is Prince is telling her all about how he wants to do it. Yes, kitties, that it. So that's what this song is about.
All right, I'm expecting some heavy R&B kind of,
Yeah, that's what I would think as well.
Love the drumming at the end there. I was going to say that this was probably my least favorite song up to this point, but that drumming really kind of was the highlight.
Drumming, it still is, I think, probably my least favorite song, but it's not a bad song because, the drumming is the star.
I'd agree with that, man. Again, a little bit different even, it had that funk, R&B type of twinge to it, yet it was still different than like HOUSEQUAKE, that was in that same type of vein.
And his voice in the first verse was kind of strained almost. Almost like a Dylan-esque type. Not Dylan, but like that strain at first, and then it smoothed out. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Sweet, man. So next we got Starfish and Coffee.
Yeah, and that he co-wrote with Susanna. It's less than 3 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Which is, compared to like a lot of these tracks. It's 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Which I guess we're going to see if I'm a liar or not. That's what I put in my notes. 2:51.
No, you're right, yeah.
And interesting title, right? It's about a girl that Susanna went to school with when she was in junior high. And the girl was autistic. So this is before we knew all this stuff about autism, right? And so obviously the girl had some issues and no one really understood at the time. But she liked her. And on one particular day, she was telling her, she always tell her what she'd have for breakfast. And she said she had starfish and pee-pee. Now when Prince heard that, he's like, well, I like the story, but let's make it starfish and coffee. And that's kind of how this came about. So that's what this song is about. The girl's name was Cynthia Rose. So it's about Cynthia Rose.
Oh, cool, man. Well, very eclectic inspirations for Prince here.
Yeah, exactly.
throughout this. So
And
let's.
it's one of 3 songs. Like I said, it's co-written with Suzanne. There's 2 other songs that he co-wrote with other people. Usually Prince is a solo guy, so 3 of the 16 got some co-writers.
I already love the backing vocals
Yeah,
there, man.
dude,
This is a happy-go-lucky song.
It is.
It kind of reminds me of a Play in the Sunshine in that regard, but this is more pop-centric, I guess you would say.
Yeah. That's just a little catchy, feel good too.
It is, man. I got to add that to the
And the chorus,
playlist.
man, just thinking about the food. He's channeling his inner Harrison and Savoy truffle.
You're right, man. Yeah, that's probably my second favorite.
It's just catchy, man.
I mean, it's not the second most impressive song I've
No.
heard, but it's my second favorite, man. Just and I like it too because Prince is so. I mean, we went from It, which was so sexually charged,
Exactly,
to
to
this song
we're
where
singing
it's
about an autistic girl and like.
Yeah.
And he said the rest of us were ordinary compared to her. Is that the verbiage he used?
I think so. Let's see here. Yeah,
All of us were ordinary compared to Cynthia Rose. So he wasn't saying normal. I thought that was an interesting. We were ordinary, which the opposite of that would be she is extraordinary. Not
You're right.
we were normal and she's weird. I think that's not a mistake. I think that's
a good point, man.
pretty cool.
That's a good way to catch up, and I enjoy that the third verse too. You know, Cynthia had a happy face, just like the one she draw on every wall in every school. But it's all right. It's for a worthy cause. Go on, Cynthia. Keep singing. Very affirming from Prince here.
Yes.
And I mean, we teach basketball to kids, and occasionally we'll get some kids on the special needs and whatnot, and those kids are usually the most kind of like happy kids that you come across, man. So I'm glad as the decades have gone on, it's become more accepted in schools and
but
whatnot.
I guarantee you, Trey, in 1986, 87,
it was still
not, and it was way before this. Obviously, she was in school, so probably early 80s, late 70s, whenever she came across this, and it just wasn't accepted.
But yeah, just what a happy-go-lucky song, man. Great pop tune. And then what do we got next? Slow Love. I feel
he co-wrote this with Carol Davis. We're going to get back to a theme here that we're going to get into in the next couple songs. There's stuff like unconditional love in here and being patient with each other, while also referencing things like slow love making and kind of going back to the It theme. So
there you go. So
that's kind of what I got for you on this song. So yeah, we had that little, and then this song, and then the next song after it is going to be, It is what it is. Side 2 is pretty sexually charged. So I'm going to guess this one was one of them that was on the Revolution album because Wendy and Lisa are doing backing vocals.
Yeah.
I just think the overall tenor of the lyrics are, he's still talking about making love, but slow. So this must be somebody he cares about. The general, it's not just some sort of physical act.
Whereas It was more in the regard of lust, this is one where you could like sing to somebody you really love.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're important to me. Like, this is what we're going. So just a totally different thing musically.
I really enjoyed the jazzy type. The brass section was in there. Just a nice slow jam. One of his best vocal performances.
I was going to say the vocals were spot on, and he was, and he's so smart about knowing, in the It portion, it's about the drums and it's about he's not worried as much about the vocals. He almost amplifies the drums. But on this one, with this instrumentation dialed down, he really hit the lyrics like crazy. Now, Trey, we're going to get into a song that's quite different than that. Hot Thing.
Hot Thing. I can only imagine.
Well,
man.
you don't have to imagine too hard. We know what this is going to be about. And this time the girl's 21. He referenced this. So I'll give Prince some credit, though. Unlike some of his contemporaries at the time, he wasn't mentioning the 16-year-olds. I'm looking at you, Robert Plant.
Yeah.
The 17-year-olds. I'm looking at you, Winger, if that reference rings with you, and a bunch of other people. So that's just kind of what this song is about. So.
All right, man. Is this the last one on the B-side?
No, we got one more after.
Cool.
Well, here's the thing, Trey. I was going to say that's my least favorite, but I don't know if it is or not. Like,
yeah, it was it was almost 6 minutes long, but like the thing with Prince that I enjoy is he keeps it interesting.
Well, that's it. I was going to say, yeah, it's almost 6 minutes long, and nowadays, I don't want to belabor this point, but it has to be made again that nowadays this song would be under 4 minutes. They take out all of the instrumentation runs in there, and there were numerous ones, and they were different instruments. They take all of that out, and it'd just be stripped down to the lyrics, and you get about 10 seconds of instrumentation between each verse. And so,
with how
we don't have any patience now. Yeah. So, it's probably there with It as my least favorite, but it's not my I don't dislike it at all. This album is absolutely banging, and a ton of publications pick this as the best album of the 80s.
Really? Yeah.
And you can see it's so solid.
So we're through half the songs right now, and all of them like
diverse.
Yeah, they have their different moments of even if you don't like a song as much as maybe a previous, it still has its moments where you're like, man, this stands out. This is interesting to me.
Yeah, and we're going to end with Forever in My Life. This is the end of side 2. And this is quite the turn, right? Because now he's going to tell her how he loves her and he wants to be with her for the rest of his life. So this is a totally different take. I don't know what it's going to sound like instrumentally. I'm going to guess it's very dialed back, but I don't know. So this will be interesting.
I love that tune, man.
Yeah, that tune is awesome. I mean, once again, just the brilliance of Prince, right? So that was all about the lyrics. Everything else is dialed back, dude. It's all about the singing.
I was about to say, but
singing and the backing himself over himself. Like, there almost on every line, then there's something in parentheses where he's backing himself just immediately after. And you hear that would have been unreal to try to mix.
I just love that. And Sign of the Times are the best lyrics that we've heard, I think, up to this point.
That was really good.
I like how he mentions, there comes a time in every man's life where he gets tired of fooling around. Some of the aspects he's been talking about, just on the previous track, Hot Thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, then now you see him mature through and like, okay, I've had my fun, but then he figures out, as we all do in life, that whatever we thought was fun when we were younger, it's not necessarily, it's not lasting. So
he never thought that love would rain down on him. Wants to settle down. She's his savior, his light. And there comes a time, or a road in every man's journey, a road that he's afraid to walk on his own. I'm here to tell you that I'm at that road. I'd rather walk it with you, essentially.
Then walk it alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that, man.
Yeah, that song is banging, man.
That was a good way. So, so we're done with the first disc of the record.
Yeah. And now when we start out side 3, there's 4 songs on side 3, and the first 3 are all sung with the manipulated vocals. So they have to be from the Camille project. The first song, You Got the Look, I'm very familiar with. It was a huge hit and went to number 2. And I guess back in 1987, I didn't really think about the vocals being manipulated. I'm sure I'm going to notice it here like crazy, but at the time, I mean, we didn't have resources to go to go,
he couldn't just
he's
pop
manipulating his voice, and this was supposed to be on a different album and all that good stuff. Sheena Easton, who Prince, she had a lot of big hits, Trey, in the 80s. You probably haven't even ever heard of her. She was a big star, and Prince had wrote a song for her called Sugar Walls it's kind of self-explanatory, and he had actually produced that for her, so I guess that's where their connection comes. So she's singing on this, but she didn't get credit for it. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but it's going to be a nice dichotomy between the two voices on there. And then it says on here there's the Lynn drum machine that we've been hearing, but also Sheila E. is on here. So Sheila E. was part of the Revolution. It was just a tremendous drummer on her own. Had a couple hits singing on her own. So she's on this. So I guess this was probably off the Revolution album, I suppose. But yeah, that's kind of what we got here. So this is a great, you're going to really like this song. So I hope I don't oversell it to you.
So only 348 again. So kind of unique. We're getting back to
back.
this
thing was tailor-made to be a single, man. I mean, I don't think he did it that way, but it's banging, man. Okay, so I got to say for me, I oversold it to you. Like, I like this song a lot. I don't like it as much as some of the other songs on here when I listen to it in totality. I like it, but...
No, I was going to say the same thing. I enjoy it, but with some of the other tracks that weren't
I realized
singles
about halfway
here.
through, I'm like, okay, it's not as great. It's good.
Yeah, no.
It's not as great as I had, in my head.
A solid single choice for sure.
Yeah,
and
definitely plays.
I see
as a
that's
single.
why, and I did like the kind of male and female back and forth there. A little, just how they played off each other a little bit. Drumming was fantastic, but
and it makes you want to dance. For
sure,
but...
absolutely, yeah. So yeah, still a solid track, but yeah, compared to some of the other ones that weren't singles, that's why I like going through the entire record.
Me too.
You find some of the deeper cuts.
Well, Trey, that's going to bring us to If I Was Your Girlfriend. Went to 67 in the U.S. and 20 in the U.K., so not a huge hit or anything. I think I know this song if I hear it. Prince was engaged to Susanna Melvoin. I know I'm probably, as I say, butcher. And Wendy was her twin sister. And so he sings this writes it from the perspective of, if I was your girlfriend, so like a platonic, if I was a girl, just a platonic relationship, we'd be closer, because supposedly he was really jealous of how close they were, not only being sisters, but as close as twins are. So I guess he was frustrated by the fact that he could never be as close to her as her sister was. So that's kind of the background. So we'll see what it sounds like. That was one of those really distinctive Prince things at the end. That long spoken outro, man. That thing was long.
I saw it just said spoken outro here on Genius on the lyrics, and I scrolled down.
You just kept scrolling. I'm like, okay.
And that's kind of where he brushed off kind of the almost veneer of, we had kind of that nice funky, obviously in the verses, and here he just goes, he strips back.
I think he got a lot of it out. If this was truly
you're
about
right,
his frustration,
that's what I was gonna say. Where okay, now I've kind of buttered you up with this, and now okay, here's how I'm really feeling. Like why can't I do this and this? As your boyfriend or your man, this and that. So.
It was interesting. It wasn't what I expected. I guess musically when I set the tone for what it was going to be about.
I see that it was the second single,
yeah,
as you mentioned. So I wonder if they chopped off.
It only went to 67. So
yeah, I wonder if they chopped off that spoken intro in the single version.
I'm sure they did, and it's just not really a single type of song to me. I like it fine. It's not one of my favorites.
I'd say I think I liked it a little more than you did. Not like one of my favorites on the record, but I still enjoyed just kind of the chilled out nature, funk type, and then just the way his vocals were in there.
There absolutely has not been a song on here that I didn't like, though.
No,
in
that's
some form or fashion.
That's the thing. I mean, I think I'll add it to the old. So
that's always the marker with Trey. If he adds it on the live streams or one of these to the. So now, Trey, we're going to go to Strange Relationship. So Prince first recorded this in 1983. Then it said in 1985, Wendy and Lisa, maybe? Yeah, Wendy and Lisa gave it a little change. That must have been the Revolution time, and made it more Indian influence.
Oh.
But then he went back here in 87 and kind of changed it up. So they say that there is a sitar in there and there is a wood flute, but it's pretty deep in the mix, so I'm going to be listening for that.
Cool.
With our experience with the sitar with the Beatles and some of the guys from the 60s and 70s. And basically the lyrics are, it's a strange relationship. He doesn't want her happy or sad. So that's kind of setting the tone for where we're at.
Strange relationship. I like it.
4 minutes, so pretty short for this.
Yet again, another heavily funk and just instrumentally rich tune.
Very much so, and the lyrics just kind of paint the dichotomy of the complications that are relationships. He doesn't want her any which way. You just can't get peace with it.
But can't stand to see you happy. More than that, I hate to see you sad. And then a little, almost threatening, honey, if you left me, I might just do something rash. Well, it's this strange relationship. So yeah, I thought the story and just kind of the emotion brought throughout the song is something probably a lot people can relate to.
Yeah, we're going to finish out side 3 with a song that I actually am familiar with, although I haven't heard it in forever. It was a top 10 single, last single released. I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. And it's about this woman we're assuming was in a long-term relationship, whether it was a marriage or not. And she's looking for somebody to take her man's place, and Prince is telling her, a one-night stand is not anything you're ever going to be satisfied with. I could never take the place of your man. I found it interesting. This was first written in 1982, so being familiar with his earlier stuff, I can see why he didn't record it then. I don't know that it would have fit on any album back then. I'm not an expert by any means on his earlier albums, but I did own them, and I just can't imagine that fitting in. So maybe I'll think differently after I hear it again. It's been a long time. Now, I'll tell you, this song is not better in any way, lyrically or instrumentally, to Sign of the Times, but it's my favorite song on here so far. This song,
it is fantastic.
I just want to hit repeat and bang that first 3 minutes.
Gotta obviously add that to the library.
That was something else.
Yeah, I really love that, man, and just some of his best guitar playing on there too in the song, and then at the end where he does kind of a rock solo and then takes it a little bluesy.
Yeah, and as you said, he had no business being
that good at
for
real. I mean, I've seen him do While My Guitar Gently Weeps, like a tribute to Harrison, and I can't remember. There's a bunch of famous musicians up there, but I've never heard him really kill it besides, the Purple Rain album.
And he did on some of the earlier stuff that showcased that more on some of his early stuff.
Yeah, man, what a fantastic tune. That's where, he left us one more. I was like, can we get one more verse in here, one more chorus?
Yeah, exactly. Well, now we're going to really switch gears as we go to side 4. There's only 3 songs on there. The second song's over 9 minutes long, so that's how you get only 3. We're going to switch to The Cross, Trey, which is you and me as Christians. This is right up our alley. It's basically going to tell the story of if you can persevere through this life to the cross, everything's going to be all right. So it's kind of summarizing the story of Christianity.
Oh, I dig that. And he definitely had a lot of religious themes on Purple Rain as
He did,
well.
because he was a devout Jehovah's Witness, became even more devout before his death. I'm not going to get into a theology discussion. I don't believe that Jehovah's Witness is a true form of Christianity, but Prince definitely followed after God. And to put this song on here, on the same album as like It is on, is awesome, man, because it shows that like you don't have to be some sort of pie in the sky and live a perfect life to follow God. So
it's showing that duality of man here a little bit here.
Exactly, man, and we all have it.
Gotta add that, man. What a fantastic tune. Just I think you'd like that even if you didn't, get behind the message, just because it was so like instrumentally fantastic the way he progressed the song. Yeah, layered is a fantastic word for it.
Yeah, he progressed it. And I will tell you, Trey, both of us have heard a lot of what we call CCM, contemporary Christian music, and like 90% of it is just trash.
Yeah.
It's incorrect lyrically as far as theologically, and it just isn't good.
It's just, it all sounds the same, and
it's
this
just,
and that, and whereas this should be,
this is quite a different thing. This is tremendous. Wow. That was a great song.
Loved it, man. Loved it. Just, again, shows a different side that sounded different than every other song on the record.
Far, man.
So I really enjoyed that.
That's fantastic. It's going to take us to the 9-minute song. It's Going to Be a Beautiful Night. And this one Prince wrote with Eric Leeds, who's one of the horn players in the Revolution, and then Dr. Fink. So I'm pretty sure Dr. Fink is probably the keyboard player in the Revolution. I don't remember, because I can just remember in some of the videos he's up there playing in Scrubs. So I'm going to guess maybe that's who that is. So
Dr. Fink, baby.
That's who co-wrote this thing. So if that's not who Dr. Fink is, then I'll be wrong on that one. But 9 minutes long, so we're in for a journey. Wow. Okay, so I felt it a lot more after Prince came on the scene vocally.
Yeah, me too.
The first fourth or maybe third of the song, I was kind of like, it's interesting you put this on here. I'm not really feeling it. But
then once his voice came in.
Yeah, and then you kind of figure out, it's pretty smart to put it on if you plan on going out to tour, because it gives you a little glimpse of, man, I'd like to go check this out. So
the live aspect to it was
cool. Something definitely you didn't expect on song 15 out of 16.
I like that. Yeah, it was just a song you could get up. I'm sure y'all saw us bobbing our heads and whatnot.
Man, you just couldn't help.
You're ready to just groove and dance a little, and Prince was just the master up there, entertainer, telling them, bring the horns in, drums in, this and that. So I thought it was a very cool showcase for the Revolution here.
And how would it be to be in the Revolution with Prince, considering he can play every instrument?
Yeah.
He probably play it as well or better than you do, whatever it is. There's nothing that you would have the in on, I know how to play this, he doesn't, what does he know? You could never say that to him.
Oh gosh, I hope Prince enjoys this.
Yeah, otherwise he's going to come over here and he's going to edit this out of the album and do it himself.
Man.
So we're going to finish off this iconic album with Adore,
which Noah paid for a live stream. So that I lied at the start. I do know this song just because we played it during one of our live streams.
It's such a tremendous song. Slow Down. It's got Atlanta Bliss and Eric Leeds on the horns, so that's a big part of this song. So let's finish this thing out.
Finish it out, man. I'm happy to hear it now, kind of in the context of the record.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to go and add it. It was at the end, so it restarted us. But man,
what a song.
Ooh, what a great way. And
what a vocal performance.
I know, that was definitely the best vocal performance on the entire record, I think. And I don't know if this was intentional, knowing Prince, it probably was, but kind of the time motif. We had Sign of the Times at the start.
Yeah,
obviously,
it probably was intentional.
And then, the last words you hear, be with me, darling, until the end of time. He mentions time quite a bit throughout this record. Just what a great love song, and just that soul in there. And I really dug it.
I did too, man. Now we get to our favorite tracks. Now there's 16 tracks on here. I'm gonna go with Sign of the Times, Adore,
good choice,
The Cross, I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man,
yep,
and Forever in My Life. So
I'll I'll say all those. Starfish and Coffee I really enjoyed
I
as
like
well.
that too.
But yeah, man, I added a lot of tunes, especially for a first listen. You know, I try to be pretty selective with what I add.
Yeah, me too.
Just since there's already so much in my saved music here. Just so impressed. I mean, we don't do like an overall score just off a first listen, or I don't, just because
I'm actually going to do one, and I know you don't. I don't usually, because here's the thing. We have listened to a lot of, quote, classic albums on this journey that we're on here on Reactions to the Classics, and there's been more than a few that I've listened to the first time and went, I don't know, and then repeated listens, you're like, oh yeah, and then you get it. When you told me we were doing this, I'm like, and I did all the research, and I thought, there's no way this thing's better than Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Because Purple Rain has such a
high bar.
This is better than Purple
Dude,
Rain.
I think it is
this
too,
is
man.
An unbelievable journey. I mean, on first listen, I would give this thing a 9 to a 9.25 because it's a masterpiece. It is.
That's what I'm feeling in that area too.
The instrumentation, and we discussed this once, I think, on a live stream, but I'm going to tell you, I cannot imagine there have been more than a handful of people ever born who are more talented musically, top to bottom, than Prince. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine that he's got to be.
The fact that he like played. I mean, the fact that he writes
all of it,
sings, produces, does like all the instruments for a ton of these tracks.
I just can't.
On top of being a great showman, you know?
I mean, I can't imagine that I really, in my mind, can't imagine he's not the greatest of all time, just all around musician.
Yeah, I mean,
and if he's not, he's got to be top 5 or top 3.
Yeah, he's in that discussion for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Stevie Wonder would be up there.
He's the only other one that came to my head. I'm sure there's other people.
Yeah, but in the scope of popular music, I mean, it's
pretty hard.
But man, and I was just so impressed the way that we had everything from funk to soul, R&B,
the diversity's
rock.
Unreal. Now, I do understand that it was 3 albums put into one, and that's part of the diversity, but man, he did a tremendous job sequencing this thing.
And talking everything from love to social issues to, religion to just a bunch of different takes on love here. I just, the Starfish and Coffee song with Dorothy Parker. I mean, I love this, man. I'm definitely going to be spending this in my free time too. And
it's a musical journey. It truly is not a cliched one.
No,
like, it's just wow.
It's definitely one of the best '80s albums I've heard. Up to date, and I don't think it'll be getting knocked down much anytime soon. But yeah, man, I guess that about wraps it up from us today. Noah, thank you so much for suggesting this, man.
This really lent well to this format.
Oh, it definitely did.
Because it plays so well the first time.
And yeah, it's one right away. You're like, oh man,
it's so diverse. It's an excellent choice.
Banger after banger. So thanks for that, Noah. If y'all enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. We usually just do, just straight up kind of reviews and don't have the reaction here, but I like doing the reactions.
Yeah, it's a nice change
every now and then too, man. So thank y'all for stopping by. Thanks again, Noah. And until next time, we will see ya.